So that is all about your iPhone and how actually money flows in your modern economy. Now we'll understand one more interesting topic, that is STP analysis. And STP stands for segmentation, targeting and positioning. And the main idea behind doing STP analysis is to attract the right customer who will be interested in your product. Now we'll start our journey with segmentation. If you really want to sell any product or any service or any device to any set of customer, you need to set a specific set of customers first, and then you'll target and then you'll try to position your product. So segmentation is basically a group of customer which have some identical need. For example, if there are a lot of girls who are really interested in fashion product, that is a group of customer which have a specific or an identical need. Once you segment those customers, then you'll try to target those customers. Targeting is basically reaching. Once you segment all your customers, then you'll try to target them. So targeting is basically reaching out to all those identical customers. Then comes the positioning. So positioning is basically a strategy which will helps you to understand that how better you can position your product to those specific set of customers, so-called identical customers. Now to explain the STP analysis, I'll take a very simple and a great example. For example, you are a small toy manufacturer in a town or in your city. You start producing toys, but you don't know how to sell your toys. So you thought that, okay, I'll try out multiple ways to sell my product, see which one is successful for me. So you sit for a few hours and finally you find out one technique. So you have observed that a lot of people are moving outside a university campus and they have a lot of younger siblings. So if you go and talk to them, they might purchase your product. And you try it for a while and basically you started going to different universities campus and you are talking to different people and convincing them to buy your toys for their sibling. And after a time you realize that you are targeting a wrong segment because nobody is purchasing your product. So you are again feeling sad. So you went back home, sit for a while and you again realize, let's try one more strategy. Now you have thought that instead of going to different universities, I'm going to different corporate campuses or different corporate offices. So you have decided to go to different corporate offices. You are talking to different parents that please purchase this toy for your child or for your daughter, and still after a time you realize that you are targeting the people in a wrong way. Then you again went back home, you sit for a while and you again came up with a new strategy. This time you have thought of targeting in front of school and pediatric hospital. But this time your trick is really gonna work out. And this is the right segment and right targeting. And the reason that this trick will work out is because of impulse purchase. Toys are something which always comes out as an impulse purchase. So if a child is crying or if a child really wants something and he is forcing his parents or his brother to purchase that specific toy for him, that is how you sell toys to the children. The best place would be school and the pediatric hospital, because a lot of children are there and their parents are also there with them. So children are basically the consumer while parents are the customer. So basically you have to choose children as your segment and you have to target parents as your customer, because customer and consumer are two different parties here. So you have to segment your consumer, which are small children, but you have to target the customer, which is your parents. And believe me, these things will really gonna work out if you understand the difference between consumer and customer and targeting and segmenting. Now this is a very basic concept. Now we will try to jump into a little higher advanced concept into the segmentation. Now segmentation have multiple dimensions to it. For example, you can segment a specific set of customer based on geography. You can also segment those customers based on demography, based on psychographic need, and based on behavioral segment. So if you had closely observed, one very unique thing about McDonald's is that it always think global but act local. Which means that if you are in USA, McDonald's have beef burger in their restaurant. If you are in India, beef is no more in a McDonald's menu because beef is very bad because a lot of people in India worship cow. That's why you'll find aloo tikki burger in India, which is a kind of a mashed potato or kind of a stuff in between two slices of burger. If you go to Philippines, you'll find Mex spaghetti, and similarly different variant of different restaurant down the line, which means that McDonald's always try to customize its menu based on the geography. So no matter in which country you are, McDonald's have a very different menu across different geography. Now, geographic segmentation is done by a specific industry. You can't find a smartphone manufacturer customizing their smartphone based on geography. That doesn't make any sense. It only makes sense if people are having a different taste, different flavor choices, or a different demand or a different religious aspect. Then only you can change your product to a specific geographic need. Now then comes the demographic need, and demographic need are basically dividing the segment based on age, gender, education level, family size, ethnicity and income. So for example, if you are selling a Toyota car and a Tesla Model 3, you have a two different demographic segment based on income. So you'll sell a Toyota car to a lower middle income group, and you'll sell a Tesla Model 3 to a high-end income group. And similarly, you can also divide product based on gender and age as well. For example, if you really want to target Snapchat, then your age group will be 15 years to 25 years. But if you really want to do some advertising for Facebook, then your target audience or the age of your demographic segmentation will increase by at least 5 years. So your bracket will goes from 25 years to 30 years. And similarly goes with education level and ethnicity. So for example, if you are targeting something to a high-end education people or some business people or to some people who can have a high disposable income, so you always choose a top level of education people. And if you have a very basic product, very simple product which can be download, installed or used by a very normal people, then you will choose a people with a different education level. Then comes the psychographic segmentation, which is basically grouping your segment based on their different interests, different lifestyle, different subconscious motivators. For example, if anybody who is interested in fashion, vlogging, is more interested towards purchasing some fashion gear, some lipstick, some backpacks, some t-shirt or track pant, all this kind of stuff. While somebody who is interested towards reading books, learning about new skills, that person is more inclined towards purchasing those products. So they have two different interests. So you need to target those particular products which are matching with their interest. And these kind of algorithms are built by multiple social media platforms where you can choose specifically which age group you want to segment and what should be their income level and what their interests are going to look like. And then those specific products will start coming out in their newsfeed. We'll talk about social media algorithm later in this course as well, but just to give you a perspective, different interest people have a different sort of segmentation. Then comes the behavioral segmentation. So there are a lot of people who are very brand loyal, while there are a lot of people who are price loyal. So how will you categorize brand loyalty versus price loyalty? So that comes under the behavioral segmentation. Now we will talk about targeting. Now targeting have four different parts. So whatever segment you have identified from your segmentation portion in the STP analysis, now it's the time to target the right kind of product to that specific segmentation. For example, there are multiple types of targeting. We have undifferentiated targeting, we have differentiated targeting, we have concentrated or focused targeting, and we have customized marketing. So basically, undifferentiated targeting is something which is targeted by a company to everyone. For example, product like Coca-Cola. So no matter you are a 5-year-old kid or if you are a 70-80-year-old grandfather or you are anyone with any interest with any age demographic, you have some interest in consuming soda or a cold drink or a Coca-Cola, which means that no matter what your age group is, what your interest area, what's your food preferences, no matter in which demographic or geographic dimension you belongs to, everybody needs Coca-Cola. So this is undifferentiated marketing. Now in undifferentiated marketing, we basically run advertisement and campaigns at every single platform possible. So you have ever noticed that you may find Coca-Cola ad in your television, also in your newspaper, also in your social media, and they do not have any specific segment to target. They are basically targeting anybody and everybody, because everyone can consume a cold drink or a pack of or a bottle of a soda. Then comes a differentiated marketing or a differentiated targeting, which means a specific set of differentiated customers will only be targeted. For example, if you are a business development manager or a sales manager in Tesla, and if you really want to sell your Tesla Model 3 or your Tesla Model X, whom should you target? So the basic answer is you should target all those people who have high disposable income and who are between the age group of 25 years to 40 years, because Tesla is a luxury car which is loved by people between the age group of 25 to 40, and because it is little expensive, which means that you should have a high disposable income. Now for differentiated marketing, we used to have a different sort of social media as well as some mixed element of television as well. In undifferentiated marketing, we have every possible thing. We can use television or a TV medium, we can use social media, we can use newspaper and other sort of advertisement media. But for differentiated marketing, you need to target a specific set of audience which may or may not be available on TV. So for example, if you want to target Tesla, then you need to show your ad on some automobile or some those channels which are related with automobile and cars. Or you can make some advertisement campaign on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube based on that specific segmentation, like high disposable income, which means high income group people, and they have an age category of 25 to 40 years. Then comes the concentrated or focused targeting. And this is basically a very niche based targeting. So for example, if you are a girl who is really interested in fashion, blogging, cosmetics, beauty, so then you'll start getting some sponsored product in your Instagram feed. For example, you'll start getting a product like lipstick or some facial kit or some face wash in your Instagram feed, because those companies are doing concentrated targeting to a specific focused niche. And if you are interested in those kind of niche, you'll start getting those kind of product. Then comes the customized marketing, and customized marketing is basically all those marketing campaigns which are created for a specific customized set of audience. For example, if you are using an iPhone, then those people who are only using an iPhone will get a related product of iPhone. For example, you'll get the ads or the sponsored post for AirPods, for Mac, or something like that. So these ads are customizable based on the requirement you have, or based on the devices you are using, or based on the salary bracket you have. So if you have a salary between 20,000 to 30,000, and if you are using an iPhone, then only these people will show ad. So these are a kind of a and if formula which are used in different algorithm. We'll talk about these things in a very detailed way, but right now I'm giving you a perspective about these things. So positioning is a strategic advantage which helps in establishing the image or identity of a brand or product so that consumer perceive it in a certain way. And for positioning, we'll try to create point of difference and point of parity. But before that, you need to understand what is point of difference and what is point of parity. So point of difference is basically the similarity which your product have with other product. For example, if you take an example of Tesla, so any normal car have a good sleek design. Any normal car needs to have a quickly reachable top speed. Any car should have a good flexibility in terms of safety, in terms of driving for long comfortable drive. And any car should have a very basic feature of less investment in repair and should have an affordable price. So these are few very basic things which every car should have, and these are very common in almost every car. So these are point of parity, which means that all these features are common in all product, and all these specifications should be there in all product because these are very basic feature. But nowadays company really try to create point of difference for their product to stand out, and that is why point of difference really comes handy in the positioning part. Because point of difference really provides a unique feature in your product that gives you a competitive edge. And if you talk about Tesla, believe me, Tesla have a technologically advanced system, and that gives a point of difference to Tesla, because Tesla is technologically very advanced. It have a self-driving technology. The battery capacity of Tesla is also very good. It can last up to 25 years. You know, it can go up to 400-500 miles with a full charge. And Tesla have a very less repair cost or a post-purchase cost, and because it only have electric motor to rotate and some group of cells to run that motor. Now, to simplify this position in a much better way, let's take an example of Tesla. And positioning which comes from point of difference gives a competitive edge. And this competitive edge, which is created by point of difference, is because of two factors. First one is the unique technology, and second one is the supply chain. Let's discuss about technology. So basically, Tesla have self-driving technology, and also Tesla have long-lasting batteries, which means these batteries can last up to 25 years, which is a good figure. And also, if you look at the supply chain, obviously Tesla have some very good strategic investment in Panasonic. They are also opening their gigafactories in China. They already have a gigafactory in United States. They are also planning to launch 2 more gigafactory, one in Germany and one in Australia. And apart from strategic investment, they are also creating strong infrastructure. So now we will try to understand the marketing mix. Now, what exactly is marketing mix? Now, there are 2 types of marketing mix. First, 4P is there for product and 7P is there for a service. Now, what exactly are 4P and 7P?